generation where phrases like, I have a dream, meant something. I grew up where I believed that freedom existed, that's what I was fighting for. I believed that the Statue of Liberty was a symbol of our liberty, that we all came from all over the world because we didn't want to live underneath the monarchy, that our founding fathers made America the land of the free and the land of the brave. I don't care what you say to me. I don't care if there's a shadow government or there's people out there that's trying to take it away from us. This is America, damn it, and I'm taking it back.
And now your host, Tere Joyce.
All right. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good evening. Welcome to the Freedom of Joyce show here on American Freedom Radio. Today is June 5th, 2018, and we are broadcasting live right here on American Freedom Radio if you happen to be tuned in and listening at this very moment. And if you are, thank you for being here. It has been a little while since I was able to make it to the show. Contrary to popular belief by some of my family members, I actually work a job. and I had been a little bit ill, so thank you for staying here, I guess, or continuing to listening to my show, even though maybe I wasn't here because I know we had replays. Okay, there's a lot of things that are, really, taking a week off. It's unbelievable to see what's really out there. Right now, I'm kind of scrolling through my Facebook page because I want to start off with this particular topic right now. There was something that I shared in some of the different groups that I'm in as well on my Facebook page, and it got a really big reaction. I don't think it was because, the video itself is Michelle Obama having some sort of interview where she's talking about how, she can't believe that in this day and age that women have decided not to vote for another woman. Like, what is it that we hate each other so much that we couldn't go to the polls and vote for another woman? And it's like, what is the next angle that apparently the Obamas, who, really look like Operation Mockingbird now. They all float around, Remember when Al Gore didn't win the presidency because, basically the election was rigged? And then he ended up doing the global warming movie, which now we're not even sure if that's real. But we did the whole global warming movie so that, apparently their little plan to do their Agenda 21 on us is not really going all that great. Being that the TPP came down and then we have Brexit and, all of this stuff going on, what I'm talking about in the past. So, but, this desire to, make us all, have limited energy, have government implemented energy devices, just make sure that, our methane, bodily functions, doesn't permeate the planet. It was the goal. So we had the Al Gore thing. Now we have, the Obamas, actually, making a deal with Netflix so that they can socially engineer us even farther, with, communism, basically. I know I'm being radical, okay? But let's be radical, right? All right. So, we have all this going on, and obviously now, I'm sure you guys know that. I've even talked about this on the show before, so I'm kind of repeating things leading up to what I'm going to talk about here. But we know the stocks dropped. We know people canceled their membership to Netflix. I had just basically gotten a free trial for a month, and I thought, I'm going to at least binge watch Stranger Things before I let go of mine. So anyways, now we have this, a video, going viral. It's got 13.8 million views, all over, Facebook. Now I'm pretty sure that I probably helped those numbers increase, because, I shared them in some groups that, got like 600 people reacted to it, just in one group. I mean, like, it's getting like 5, 6, 7, 800, comments. Matter of fact, it would be fun maybe to read some of the comics. A lot of them are about, like, they keep calling her Michael, and what does Michael know what it's like to be a woman, which was really shocking because if anything is a conspiracy theory, it's the fact that Michelle isn't a woman, but let's not forget that Joan Rivers, God rest her funny soul, is no longer with us after she would not apologize, taking back her comment. It wasn't a joke, I don't think. Her comment that we already had a gay president and that, Michelle was transgender. So there is kind of a little hazy shroud there. And for me, if I'm going to think that maybe a conspiracy theory is true, I would look to another comedian, to maybe point the way of what the truth might be. Apparently Joan Rivers, even though she had worked for the shopping network, et cetera, she was still very honest, right? And came out with something that she's dead now from a minor surgery, throat surgery, inpatient, outpatient surgery. So, no, again, when you have a bunch of people saying this, about, tell Michael to shut up, one has to think. Now, I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna, this isn't about whether or not, Michelle Obama is a male or a female. What it's about, what got the big reaction? I used this video and I shared it in a few key groups like Trump fans and QAnon and things like this. And I wrote, American women are smart enough not to elect a woman who engages in Haitian child trafficking and writes it off as charity. Hashtag Valerie Jarrett. Hashtag Ed Rendell, hashtag Laura Silsby, hashtag Clinton Foundation. That's basically, this is the monster in the box here, in my opinion, of all of the, Planet of the Apes, starring the domestic goddess Roseanne, all of that hoopla. What we really need to take a look at, is Valerie Jarrett. Oh, look, I'm getting a call right now. Isn't that perfect timing? That's not uncanny. That just happens when I'm talking about the Clinton Foundation. Just a moment here. Oh, and it's an unknown caller from Athens, Tennessee. Let's see. Let's just mess with these people.
I'm calling to let you know that we have been granted a limited health enrollment period for a few weeks.
Gee, I can't wait to enroll in Limited Health right now in the middle of my show. That ought to be.
I'm not sure I understand.
I'm sorry. I'm trying. Shut up, Siri. Siri is just actually for lazy people, is what I think. You can't make your finger work and actually type words out. And my God, even when we type a word out, it automatically tells you what that word is before you actually finish typing the word. So really, there should be no excuse to have grammatical misspellings ever. Although I did misspell something that upsets me right now, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit later too, because we have a lot to talk about today. When you're gone for a little while, oh my God. Okay, so. By the way, if you are tuning in right now to American Freedom Radio and you've never come into this time slot right now, you're like, what am I listening to? This is the Freedom of Joyce show right here on American Freedom Radio. Let's give a shout out to American Freedom Radio and Danny Romero for keeping us here on the air. So just, hey, and please do support us too. I'm going to ask for a donation because unlike my family members who happen to think that I'm living off of charity, they don't realize that all of us here ask for donations because most of us are volunteering to exercise our right to free speech in a media that we hope will have some sort of sense to people, even though no matter what we say will be dismissed as being a conspiracy theorist. But if you would like to support this free speech here and the information that you're not going to get anywhere else, please do support us at our website at AmericanFreedomRadio.com. Also, I'd like to mention, too, that American Freedom Radio does have a sponsor, and it's SimplyCleanFoods.net. Freeze-dried foods that you can keep organic, that you can keep in your cupboard, that you can either use at any point in time, or just in case there's a tragedy that happens to come down the way and we need to be stocked up. Okay. So you can probably hear my my phone's ringing. So anyways, yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about that little connection there, Valerie Jarrett, and that connection, that Ed Rendell, Laura Silsby, Clinton Foundation, connection. There was a while back, I think I talked about it on this, radio network. And, if you want to know too, all of my shows are archived here on American Freedom Radio. Every single one of them that I broadcast here, I think it goes back 3 years now, has been uploaded here. You can download them for free. So please do visit our site and, get this information if you want to know where I'm at. Again, as you know, I lost my YouTube channel, but obviously I'm not the only one. One thing I do want to say about that one more time, about that, I know, just one more comment because it's glaring me in the face. Say this. Chuck Uccelli just sent me a link on through Skype, and it was a video of it was basically what they call pot porn, and it had big old beautiful nugs of cannabis. Big old beautiful nugs shot, and then it would have a soundtrack of a woman orgasming, making orgasm noises, with the bud. Okay, now, very funny, not cute idea, but how is it that that video is okay with the community guidelines of YouTube, and a video that I do of an interview with Keon Shokrai from Dank Tank Vape Pens, and talk about designer vaping cannabis, that gets shut down because apparently I'm advocating drug use or showing people how to use drugs, which got my YouTube channel shut down, among other things. Copyright strikes by the likes of, but I'm just going to say her name because it's true. Well, maybe I won't. Her initials are SJH. But if you want to look at her channel, she may have another doll video up for your viewing pleasure, and a couple more cartoons maybe, about what I said about her that I didn't say. But anyways, I digress. So, just the hypocrisy is just getting really sickening. So anyway, I want to bring this up about Valerie Jarrett, Ed Rendell, Laura Silsby, and Clinton Foundation. Yeah, I did a show a while back about Ed Rendell and his pedo allegations, because they are out there, and also that he went down after the earthquake in Haiti to transport children from an orphanage. Now, this is not just made up. This really happened. And apparently, Valerie Jarrett was part of the transportation of those children. And of course, that was done by, the Clinton Foundation, or under the Clinton Foundation. Also, I want to give a shout out to the Clinton Foundation too for actually, giving a grant, to Lincoln Park and Gang, because they were down there. It's kind of cool that they are able to give grants. It's a little bit of nepotism perhaps, since allegedly, the lead singer may have been John Podesta's son. So, I guess they like to keep it all in the family. Anything that you do underneath a 501c3 nonprofit, I guess really doesn't have any taxes, does it? So let's just think about the amount of money that is funneling through the Clinton Foundation for free. So anyways, And the most suspicious thing, which I think maybe would, raise an eyebrow to anybody who, I don't know, has watched any CIA, NSA detective film out there. Just look into an episode of Dexter, and probably there would be some character speculating the obvious. But if you do that, you're obvious. Forget me. I must be a conspiracy theorist. But, okay, we have Valerie Jarrett, Ed Rendell, Laura Silsby, Clinton Foundation, and Laura Silsby. See, that's the name you really need to focus on, because she did get arrested for child trafficking. And guess who pardoned her? The Clintons. All right, you know what? I know that the most people that have tuned in right now that might be listening to my show live, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're like, yeah, Terry, we heard you say this a long time ago, and you keep repeating it over and over again. Well, apparently, I can't seem to repeat it enough. This happened to trigger, one of my cousins, who, basically, called me, a disgusting conspiracy theorist, no good person, who doesn't really care about others, and I'm incredibly selfish, and I'm living off of charity. Now, I don't know if anybody has really heard me recently ask for money from myself. I know that there were maybe a couple times where I might have put it out there or whatever. But by and large, usually when I'm on somebody's network, I'm usually plugging their network, continuously. I do not have a Patreon account at the moment. My videos are not monetized, by the way. So as far as I'm concerned, for me, this is somewhat of a charity, as in the past, I have been paid really quite well for what I'm doing exactly right now. That may be, working in radio, that may be standing on a stage and performing for 45 minutes to an hour or half an hour, or doing a television show. I am a professional at what I do, okay? If I wanted to be, let me see, sell out my soul, to the devil, to maybe have had, maybe to have had what Roseanne had, okay? Maybe to have had what Roseanne had. Maybe I would have had that at some point. I certainly was in line for it. I certainly was in line. I got awful damn close. But you know what? That wasn't in the cards for me, and thank God it wasn't. I really feel like right now I'm on a mission, and I would say that I'm working for the God upstairs. Now, you might see that that's insane, but why else would a woman like me struggle to just get here anyways and still do it? I don't know who's been listening to me, or how long I've been doing this, but I have literally not had a home. I've had incredibly dire situations, of which I've asked for very little help to get through. But by the way, I did ask for help, and I want to thank you guys for keeping me here on the air. Thank you for you caring about me being here and supporting me. You know what? Maybe my YouTube channel is down in numbers, or, because I'm starting all over again. But those of you who found me and subscribed to me, thank you for staying here. You know what? It's not about me. I had somebody tell me something, the other day. Well, they said, well, you really sure you want to work with so-and-so anymore? Because, you're blossoming right now. And, how many times have I blossomed, by the way? I just want to point that out. I blossomed several times in several different things, all right? And we all blossom and go to a next level, because eventually once you start doing something, you just simply get better at it, hopefully, right? Okay, so I'm blossoming right now in all of this craziness that that's going on. Because trust me, it's not easy. And I'm gonna say I am under spiritual attack. That's one of the reasons why I haven't been here. All right, and really, what my cousin did is really a spiritual attack as well. By the way, she's a witch, and I'm not lying. Okay, she even admitted it to me. And basically said, I have one more person ready to do a little bit of spell casting, but it doesn't really worry me when you have most of the worst witches on the planet connected to Mr. Eyebrows. All right, so I'm sorry, my cousin, but I don't think you compare. All right, go wave your wand up your butt, okay? Is all I gotta say. Go get some essential oils and put them all over the doors. I'm sick of it. All right. Oh yeah, you're psychic. Do you not know the psychics I know? Please sit down. Sit down. Once again, I've trumped you. Nope, and pun intended. All right. So I just. This frustrated me. I didn't want to talk about it. You know, I'm pretty transparent, right? Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully it's entertained you in some way. And you know what? The reason why maybe it's going to help you, because I'm pretty sure you're, experiencing what I'm experiencing too. And I shared this on my Facebook page. I said, sucks when you have to block family from your social media because they lack the mental maturity to handle your posts. Which right now I did this in the middle of the night, which usually it's not a good time to post things. And on my own timeline, it's already gotten 73 responses and 19 comments and 2 shares. All right. So, Grand Bean, it's not like going viral like the other one, but it's to my personal friends, and obviously that many people identify with what I'm talking about. It's really biblical in a way. It's like, there's a passage, that there will be mothers and fathers and everyone, they won't be able to, get along, and they'll argue between each other. This is over Hillary Clinton, by the way, guys. This is still over an election that took place nearly 2 years ago. And yet I'm having to block a relative off of social media because of it. I'm being called by a conspiracy theory by a relative. Lovely. Apparently, they haven't been listening to the Freedom of Joyce show or realized when they thought I wasn't broadcasting anymore. And by the way, her mother was shocked about a month ago. You're still doing that radio show? And she had such a look of hate in her face for what I'm doing. I don't understand where that comes from. Maybe you should look into your soul, guys, and figure out what's going on with you. What do you care if I decide to spend 6 hours out of my week doing a live broadcast or doing anything on social media or doing anything with any of my time, as long as I'm taking care of the basic needs that needs to be done in my duties to my family or my household? What do you care what I do? What are you doing with your time? Sitting around in front of the television and feeding your face and talking about stupid shit? I'm pretty sure that's probably what it is. Whew. I always think I'm not going to be angry when I come on the show, but apparently shit happens before I get here. All right, so let's get back to Roseanne, because that's where the monster in the box is. So I wanted to point that out. I also want to point another thing out about the drug Ambien. Ambien has a hypnotic effect. Notice the butterfly on the package. I've been reading things that it is being used in MK Ultra mind control, which could have happened to Roseanne. When you wake up, you're under hypnosis, you could be triggered. Roseanne already has talked about having multiple personalities, and it's well known that she's come out and talked about MK Ultra in Hollywood. So yeah, maybe there was a combination between menopause and Ambien and a trigger word or some sort of handler, or maybe it's an elf wave or electronic warfare putting a suggestion into somebody's skull. Because I just saw another video about that. How horrifying. That's not like nothing new, but you know what? There's a lot more things about it that I didn't know. And you know what? There's a lot more like us out here, oh God, what's his name? Ricky and the something, whatever everybody's always saying. I guess his YouTube channel got, shut down. He came out and said that he was under, electronic warfare. And also, they can make you sick. They can make you sick. They can make you what? Not want to get out of bed. Not feel well enough to get out of bed. So, if you would like to see my videos that I did in my car yesterday talking about it, it's Planet of the Apes starring the Domestic Goddess Part 1 and Part 2. Right in the middle of broadcasting that, I happened again to mention the Clinton Foundation, just like I did right now, and the phone went off. My phone overheated, and I could not continue with what I was saying. So I drove a little bit further and stopped at another location, and then finished my full thoughts. I did a show about this. I started to do a show about this on Truth Cat Radio when I was first looking at when everything was first breaking out, like nearly a week ago today. So I realized, I might be talking about old news. It's not as hot off the iron to get, all the hits that you were supposed to get when you catch that little wave. I didn't really care about that, because I want to talk about, Laura Silsby and Valerie Jarrett and Senator Ed Rendell, and what went down in Haiti. And also, let's also talk about another little meme that's circulating around with, Valerie Jarrett and John Podesta apparently spray painted at some sort of freak party. Now, was there children there? Was this, one of their big nights out? Was right around the corner a spray painted Marina Abramovic? Who knows? Maybe even Hillary and Uma Aberdeen were there. So I don't know. But apparently this party took place at the Standard in Los Angeles. And I don't know if anybody is familiar with that hotel chain, but it's a kind of there's one in downtown Los Angeles, and there's also one that's on the Sunset Strip. I personally have been to both. And, it's well known that a lot of, celebrities hang out there and everything. As a matter of fact, I met, Sean Lennon at the Standard, which that's my closest moment to John was meeting Sean there at the Standard. And you know what? I think that might have been one of the last times I was there. It's been quite a few years, but now another thing with the Standard is there was some sort of, and I don't have the information pulled up, so you're probably going to have to search it. But I would Google search it. It's out there. I'm free associating with what I'm talking about, but I want to just get these points out to you. There was some sort of shooting. Took place, and it was linked. I don't know if it was employees. I think it was employees that got shot, and it was meant for the owner, and I think the owner had something to do with the deep state. Now, I'm just somewhere in that there's something funky going on with the Standard. So it's interesting that this little picture flying around with Valerie Jarrett and John Podesta was something that was photographed at the Standard in Los Angeles, California. Okay, another thing that is really in the news right now is what's going on in Arizona. There's a big child trafficking bust going on in Arizona, Tucson, and there's underground tunnels connected to it. I watched a video last night of Craig Sawman Sawyer. And, he is part of the team that is doing this bust. Now, I thought that it was already, there was already police involved. There's already an arrest happening, but apparently, they're not really doing much right now. And he kind of explained that the, police are almost like volunteers. They don't even carry guns or something. Some of them. That the police force, Tucson police is kind of watered down. here's these gunless law officers that are basically, called out for domestic disputes to be a negotiator between the people that are having issues. Like, there's no death that happens from domestic disputes, that you would need a gun or maybe have to, like, tie somebody up and handcuff them or something. I guess they save that stuff for, like, medical marijuana or marijuana dispensaries to raid, where they used to, now that, we've got Trump behind us. I mean, who knew that it would be Trump that would do more for marijuana than Obama? Okay, another reason to get rid of these guys. Another reason to leave Netflix. He did nothing for cannabis. Except he did do one thing. I have to give him props. But again, we had a fight to keep it in office even back in 2011 with the Cole memo. But it was when he stopped funding the DOJ for medical marijuana dispensaries, and Eric Holder sent out a memo asking them not to raid dispensaries if they followed state guidelines. We almost lost that again, but thank God, thank you. I know a lot of people don't like him right now, and they have this and that, blah 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 blah. I happen to like the guy because I don't know. Roger Stone. Went to bat on that. You may think he's a dirty trickster, but apparently he's a dirty trickster to keep cannabis right here with us so that we can get well. So, now, another thing that is becoming prominent around this is a guy named Carlos Slim. And I want to take a moment and bring this up. To talk amongst yourselves on this. Carlos Slim is a billionaire, and there's a cement company that is near what this has happened, that many people are saying Many people are saying was part of the building of these bunkers, or maybe had something to do with the financing of these bunkers, but it's definitely got a question mark on it. I thought I posted it on my main timeline. I don't know what happened to it, so I got to pull it up into here. So just a second. Here it is. All right. Going to take a moment to come up. All right. This is, I found this ad. It's called Kundalini and celltowers.com. Okay. And it's Carlos Slim, and it says from the hashtag Pizzagate Wiki. All right. Carlos Slim, his background from Wikipedia. Carlos Slim, Helu, born January 28, 1940, is a Mexican business magnate, investor, and philanthropist. From 2010 to 2013, Slim was ranked as the richest person in the world. He derived his fortune from his extensive holdings in a considerable number of Mexican companies through his conglomerate, Grupo Carso. As of July 31st, 2016, he was number 7 on Forbes' list of billionaires with a net worth estimated at US $50 billion. His conglomerate includes education, healthcare, industrial manufacturing, transportation, real estate, media, energy, hospitality, entertainment, high technology, retail, sports, and financial services. He accounts for 40% of the listings on the Mexican Stock Exchange, while his net worth is equivalent to about 6% of Mexico's gross domestic product. Additional relevant facts: made his fortune from buying off Mexican public assets, privatized with the help of neocons, and Bill Clinton signing NAFTA. Worked with organ donation advocacy with Telmex Foundation and the Carso Institute, And right now, I want to kind of do a little thing on organ donation. That's kind of like really glaring me in the face right here. The organ donation part. There's a series of people. One of the people that died in association to the Clinton Foundation and the Sloan Kettering facility is that there was a lawsuit that was taking place in Florida, and there was a lawyer that was murdered, and a lot of people thought that maybe it was a link to Debbie Wasserman Schultz. This is someone that right now his name is kind of escaping me, but this was coming from Elizabeth Lee Beck, who her and her husband Jared Beck are suing the DNC. She did a show on InfoWars where she really broke down, and I actually have done 2 shows where I pretty much read verbatim what she said. So if you want to go back and listen to those shows, you can get like real specific details on what I'm talking about. But there was a guy who was from Haiti that was involved, that was ended up dead, and he had an association to. There was a link between Haiti and a lawsuit about organs and the Clinton Foundation and some really big names that were on the board of directors at Sloan Kettering for the organ transplant department or whatever. Okay, I mean, I'm kind of being vague. Okay, whatever. All right, but I wish I would have retained all the specifics on my show. But you can link to that because I pretty much was pretty thorough on that. Again, it sounds outlandish, but it also sounds like perhaps, let's just go there, all right? Besides just doing child trafficking all the way to the White House underneath an advisory of Obama, Valerie Jarrett, not only maybe all that's going on, but let's just thinking about organ trafficking going through Haiti and certain organizations where big names are broadcasters and everything, politicians are on the board of directors, and there's a lawsuit, and the lawyer that was involved for that ended up dead, and somebody else, who's possibly involved with the organs in Haiti is also mysteriously dead. I mean, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. All this stuff is linking back. Not only do we have, Uranium One going on and all that stuff happening, we've also got the Clintons' hand and, the Clinton Foundation in what was going on in Haiti. Meanwhile, we're all distracted. We're all distracted about racism and hating each other and blaming each other. And I'm going to say that there's a real, I have anxiety about it now. I mean, I had anxiety before, but now it's real anxiety. And I'm sure other people have anxiety too. I'm witnessing. There's no way that I can make a comment and, on Facebook, not even 12 hours ago, barely 12 hours ago, and have a reaction about a family member, going off on you. A family member called me a conspiracy theorist. Roseanne got called a conspiracy theorist. Roseanne got publicly called out as a conspiracy theorist by probably her ex-handler, ex-husband Tom Arnold, telling it like way back when she should be ashamed of herself, and now she's even doing a harder walk of shame. Okay. So, I mean, we can go in and we can theorize what the Planet of the Apes means, and, it wasn't really about racism, or we can talk about, all the, the fact that Bill Maher, had a picture of Donald Trump and an orangutan, and who's to know what the difference was, I mean, or that's not racist because Donald Trump is a white man, or, I love the one, there's one that was hysterical, one of those long-faced monkeys for John Kerry. I always want to call John Kerry Jim Carrey. It's the Kerry brothers. Maybe Jim Carrey will play John Kerry in a movie. Called Skull and Bones. All right. Additional relevant facts. So let's go back to, so we talked about the organ donation and the Carso Institute. There's an archive. I mean, some of these archives I'm going to click on too, because we're going to go a little bit. There's more links to what I'm talking about, but I'm giving you the basic bullet points. WikiLeaks staffer leaks suggest he may have cartel involvement. Well, we're going to definitely click on that one. His wedding was officiated by Marcel, Catholic pedophile. We can look at that one too. Many suspect he was a front for former Mexican President Carlos Salinas de Gortari. The Mexican billionaire, even ex-presidents fear talking about. There's another archive in Fortune.com. Okay, relationship to hashtag Pizzagate, connection to Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, the Clinton Foundation, and Frank Giustra. Slim has personally donated between at least $250,000 to $500,000 to the Clinton Foundation. Whoa. Wow, there's a big thud upstairs. Huh. Again, I'm talking about the Clinton Foundation, and there's a distraction. Is there a coincidence? Probably not. Okay, so through businesses he owns, however, he was through businesses. Okay, let me start over again. Slim has personally donated between at least $250,000 to $500,000 to the Clinton Foundation. Through businesses he owns. However, he has donated over $7 million. Slim also donated a significant portion of a $20 million fund, the Clinton Foundation's Clinton Giustra Sustainable Growth Initiative, which also involves Clinton associate Frank Giustra, runs jointly with Slim's Slim Foundation. Giustra, I might have said his name wrong. Connection to Raffaele Folleri. From the September 3rd, 2008 Vanity Fair article, The Folleri Charade, it is also important to note that Slim is connected to a pedophile priest, Marcel Michel, who was heavily connected to Andrea Sedano, who was on the board of Folleri's Folleri Group, and his uncle, Cardinal Angelo Sedano, who Folleri said was his connection to the Vatican. He has a connection to the New York Times. Slim is the largest individual shareholder of the New York Times with a 17% ownership. Connection to Marcel Massé and the Legion of Christ. Slim's wedding was officiated by pedophile priest Marcel Marcial. The Legion of Christ, which Massel founded and headed, also threw an event in Slim's honor from the Wall Street Journal with elite backing. A Catholic order has pull in Mexico. 2 years ago, a handful of Latin American billionaires and some of the world's top financiers gathered at New York's Plaza Hotel. They were honoring Mexican plutocrat Carlos Slim and raising money for schools for children run by the Legion of Christ, a fast-growing conservative Roman Catholic order. Among those giving speeches at the Black Tie Gala were the Reverend Marcial Massel, the 85-year-old Mexican founder of the Legion and Citigroup Inc., Chairman Stanford Will. Within hours, the diverse group of 500 well-doers raised $725,000. The Legion was in its element. Founded in 1941, the order concentrates on ministering to the wealthy, and wow, this is really weird, and powerful in the belief that that by evangelizing society's leaders, the beneficial impact on society is multiplied. Let me read that sentence again because it was sort of broken up. It's printed weird. The Legion was in its element. Founded in 1941, the order concentrates on ministering to the wealthy and powerful in the belief that by evangelizing society's leaders, the beneficial impact on society is multiplied. Like the Jesuits, who centuries ago whispered in the ear of Europe's princes, the Legion's priests today are the confessors and the chaplains to some of the most powerful businessmen in Latin America. The soul of a trash collector is as important as the soul of Carlos Slim. But if Slim is converted, think of the influence and power for good he would wield, says Lou and Yurlo, a former Goldman Sachs securities analyst who organized the benefit. Mr. Slim, Latin America's richest man, with a fortune estimated at $24 billion, says he's not a highly devout Catholic, but is helping the Legion create 50 low-cost universities in Latin America. For reference, this event took place in 2004, 2 years after the massive story of pedophile priests broke in 2002, which would later become the basis of the Oscar-winning film Spotlight. And during the course of decades of sex abuse allegations against Legion Christ founder Marcel Michel. Connection to Lynn Forrester de Rothschild from the Daily Article, Rothschilds in for Slim Pickens, published on July 11, 2010. From their Chelsea home, there was once the studio of artist John Singer Sargent. 3 times married Lynn tells me is right here with my husband and myself. He is here for the weekend. We are in the business together, and he is investing in my company. We have been friends for some years. Okay, needs integration. Security Weekly, New Mexican president, same cartel. All right, so yeah, this guy is coming out in the news right now, and he apparently has some association to the company. The company is, I believe it's called CEMEX. Let me see. Let me just Google that. I believe it's CEMEX, CEMEX, CEMEX. Tucson, let me see, CEMEX Tucson, hold on. CEMEX is a global leader in the building materials industry, okay, and then let me put in, I just want to confirm that I'm correct on that. I'm pretty sure it's called, CEMEX Slim. Okay. CEMEX and its ties to Arizona corruption, Carlos Slim, Clinton Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, Soros and Rothschild, CEMEX and its ties to Arizona corruption. This is from Drain the Swamp. Let me click onto this. This looks interesting, doesn't it? Okay, yeah. CEMEX, as its CEMEX and its ties to Arizona corruption, Carlos Slim, Clinton Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, Soros and Rothschilds. CEMEX and its ties to Arizona corruption. Heard of CEMEX lately? Well, they have direct ties to Clinton Foundation that's been accused of child trafficking. CEMEX teams with Clinton-backed UN Foundation Alliance, published Tuesday, October 1st, 2013, written by Concrete News. Oddly enough, this company also flourished greatly under what U.S. president? If you guessed Obama. Read more. Yes, I'd like to read more. I want to read all of it. Let's read it. Let's read it. Oh, but ladies, shame on you for not backing other women and voting on another woman for president just because she's a woman. Shame on you. Shame on you people. Stop being haters. When are women going to grow up and know how to vote correctly? Go put your pussy hat on. CEMEX and its ties to Arizona corruption, Carlos Slim, Clinton Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, George Soros, and Rothschilds. I said that already. Oh, look at this. Tucson Anon here again with an update on the child sex trafficking camp found on I-19 in Valencia. We're on to something huge here, Anons. Hundreds of us citizens have gone out to see the camp, and we're finding more of them as we speak. People are trying to get cadaver dogs out there since the police and federal authorities are still refusing to investigate, even though we have more evidence on these sick bastards than you can imagine. From what we can tell, let me just increase my size here because the font got different there for a second. Oops. Okay. All right. From what we can tell, the camp had 4 to 6 men. Okay, here we go. Okay. The camp had 46 men operating at a given time. A cartel member responsible for the camp showed themselves earlier and attempted to scare us off the property despite having no legal right to do so. Needless to say, it didn't work. After it became clear to him how screwed he was, he disappeared on horseback into the Tejano Odom Reservation. The company that owns the property is CEMEX Construction Materials South, LLC. They have attempted to get us to leave, but have not sent anyone directly tied to the ownership of the land. Our citizens are occupying the area until the fences are repaired and the site is fully secured. TPD says we have until Monday morning to do so, but we're leaving till the work is done. CEMEX has threatened to send a private security, but we have armed guards of our own standing watch. Anons we have found combs with blonde hair in them. We have found boxes full of kids' toys and condoms. We have found graves already. We stopped digging halfway when the smell got too bad. People are walking out of here traumatized from what they've seen, yet the government does nothing. Our people and our children have been forsaken. The local media is trying to spin this like we're making it up and are actively working with cartel members. KGUN 9, I'm talking about you. We all need Anons willing to willing to spread the word of this on any social media platform you have to account on using the Operation Backyard Brawl and Where Are the Children hashtags along with any more you see fit. We've had some brave patriots come and take high quality footage of one of the camps, so God willing the truth will be brought to light. This is it, Anons. This is an opportunity to expose everything we've discovered about the global sex trafficking trade to the masses. The government is complicit. The police administrations are complicit. The officers are not. They want to help as much as the rest of us. And the media is complicit. We have all the physical evidence we need. We have documented everything we know. Who was building the camps and raping children. We just need people to spread the word that this exists. Here is the Facebook page of one of the groups involved in the effort. You can find updates on the operation on it. God bless. This is from AmericanDigitalNews.com, and it's CEMEX, Ties, Arizona Corruption, Carlos Slim, Clinton Foundation, Soros, Rothschild. There's more for me to read here, but we're going to go into a break, so I don't even want to start it. I guess we've got about a minute left. I did see this original post from Anonymous. This is actually just included in this particular post. But with this does coincide with what I saw in the video with Craig Sawyer in his description. He did say that there were combs with blonde hair in it. There were dyes of black hair dye. But he also mentioned that there were things to tie people up with and against trees and multi-level and, looking like there were whipping devices and things like this that were all around everywhere and put up in constructs. So, it looks like it was just, they were torturing, raping. Maybe it was a secret locale for these people. He also talked about how there was, you could go, there was a big underground, like sitting underground, and deep down there was like they built a hole, and there was a septic tank in there, but a lot of, and it was obviously there were children's toys and things in that hole with the septic tank, which means that there were definitely children, or maybe they were keeping children down there, and it was so far down that you wouldn't be able to see them. So, that was also of concern. So yeah, I mean, this is what's coming out, and again, I know that some people go, oh, it's anon, oh, it's anonymous, oh, it's maybe Q. Okay, well, we'll be right back with more Freedom of Joyce here on June 5th, 2018. Stay tuned, don't go away.
You see, I grew up in America. I grew up in the land where phrases like, I have a dream, meant something. I grew up where I believed that freedom existed, that's what I was fighting for, that our founding fathers made America the land of the free and the land of the brave. This is America, damn it, and I'm taking it back.
And now your host, Tere Joyce.
All right, welcome back to the Freedom of Joyce show here on American Freedom Radio, and thank you so much for tuning in. If you're here live at the moment, or if you're just watching the YouTube video later, again, right now I've done like 2 shows on the pedophilicry by Dave McGowan that I haven't even uploaded to my personal channel yet. Because of not feeling well. God, I had no energy. And other things that were going on. I'm coughing too because I did puff a little between shows. So, obviously I'm I'm really okay. Okay, now, all right. Wait a second here. I was just looking at something, pulling something up from my Facebook page, and I'm going to share with you too another article to come after this one. But yeah, I'm going to be uploading these videos really soon, and I'm going to trust that whatever lull, slowdown I had to go through, it's over with, and let's get the show on the road. I know that there are some of you out there that are waiting for that material. But if you are listening live and you want to see it beforehand, I've got stuff here on American Freedom Radio, again, on the archives. And one more plug at the top of the hour. American Freedom Radio is we are sponsored by simplycleanfoods.net. Do check them out. Organic freeze-dried foods that you can keep in your cupboard and be used at any time, and it's organic, which makes it great. Also, if you'd like to give a one-time donation here, you can do that here at AmericanFreedomRadio.com. And we also have a Patreon account if you want to become a monthly contributor to us. And we say thank you. All right, so let's go back to this article. All right, so I'm reading from the AmericanDigitalNews.com, and this is about the camp out in Tucson, Arizona, where it looks like there's some suspicious artifacts that look like there might be some child trafficking going on, abuse of children, rape of children, and perhaps even murder of children. And Craig Sawyer, he's also has his own foundation for child trafficking, and he's doing a documentary. He's a Hollywood guy. He's an ex-Navy SEAL, and he did a video talking about this, about what they discovered. And I just read you what Anon said was on the campsite, and the connection to CEMEX. Which is CEMEX Teens with Clinton-backed UN Foundation Alliance. This article is connecting the dots with CEMEX and Carlos Slim. the billionaire, one of the 7 richest men in the United States, and how all of this comes to play. This may be, I mean, you know, like when, CEMEX and its ties to Arizona corruption, Carlos Slim, Clinton Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and George Soros and the Rothschilds. I mean, you know, when Trump put in the executive order to, you know, when it comes to taking, for people who've gone against what's to happen to those who've committed crimes against humanity, you know, maybe all this has been put into place because he knows that people like Carlos Slim are walking around, and you know, we are getting close to draining the swamp. CEMEX teams with Clinton, backed by UN Foundation Alliance. This is amid General Assembly of the United Nations meeting in New York City. CEMEX officials signed an agreement to join the UN Foundation Global Alliance for Clean Cook Stoves. The public-private partnership seeks to protect the environment and improve local communities' quality of life by creating a global market for clean and efficient household cooking solutions. Now, again, all these guys, all these billionaires, like I was saying before, you know, when they want to implement laws for us to have certain devices that are going to be mandated because we have a climate problem, we have a global warming problem. Here you go. I mean, this is part, I really think this is part of it, right? Here's the UN being involved with this. Of course he's doing something like this. Of course this is being done. By joining the alliance, we will foster the adoption of cook stoves in Latin America and Asia, strengthening our ongoing corporate social responsibility efforts in these regions and contributing to the well-being of their communities. Now, this is where America had a problem with this because they wanted to, you know, push the TPP through, and there was that whole, I don't know, Jeff Sessions did a whole thing about this, you know, when he said, we shouldn't be passing laws mandating people in the United States to use these products with no filibuster, you know, just letting it go without having 2/3 vote of the House. You know, because of the fact that, you know, that this was a corporate, you know, this is the UN. This is not how America does things. We don't allow other countries to be part of the mandating laws and also part of the enforcement in the United States, and that was a look of concern. Well, here you have this guy doing this, basically, like what they're doing, starting in Mexico. It's like UN thing. Here's my business. Here's what it is. So here's where corporation and globalism gets to like go hand in hand and take over something. By joining the alliance, we will foster the adoption of cook stoves in Latin America and Asia, strengthening our ongoing corporate social responsibility efforts in these regions and contributing to the well-being of their communities, said CEMEX Chairman Lorenzo Zambrano. The company has worked in the field the past 3 years, he added, providing sustainable cook stove solutions in tandem with government agencies, social entrepreneurs, academia, and non-government organizations. The alliance partnership enables CEMEX participation in steering committee and advisory group activities, plus high-level meetings with sister union organizations and the Clinton Global Initiative, launched in 2010 by then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. The alliance eyes adoption of clean cook stoves and fuels in 100 million households globally by 2020. So now we know why the dude is like giving, you know, thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Clinton Foundation, right? Right? Am I right? It advocates the alternatives to open-air stoves whose pollution levels jeopardize individual and community health. The group is building bridges between the public and private sectors to make the basic but essential act of cooking safe and healthy worldwide, notes Alliance Executive Director Radha Motaha. Mexico's CEMEX surges on Obama infrastructure plan. Shares of Mexico's CEMEX surged on Monday on hopes that U.S. President-elect Barack Obama infrastructure investment plans would translate into high sales for the top U.S. cement supplier. So, wow, that goes all the way before, he's been running around wanting to make deals with his little company and the Democrats for a long time. How come he's not making any alliances with the Republicans? Don't they want to get into the cement business and have their hand in anything? I'm just kind of curious. Of course, I am one of those people that, excuse me, that actually thinks that both hands are working for both sides. Both sides are working for the same coin. You know what I'm saying? Both things are one and the same. All right, I want to go back to this original article on Carlos Slim. I want to look at maybe just, a few more things that stuck out. Let's go back. Remember I said, I want to look at this. So, made his fortune from buying Mexican public assets, Bill Clinton signing NAFTA, worked with organ donation advocacy. Yep, here we go. Give it to me. Give it to me. We're going to let that power up here for a second. The Carso Institute programs are only just getting underway alongside scholarships and academic support. Work to qualify progress in health in Latin America and specialist analysis about the future of vaccines and the health impact of global warming. So he's a vaccine guy. He's a global warming guy. Okay. The Carso Institute. What is it? I'm curious about what the Carso Institute is. Mr. Slim, the son of Lebanese immigrants, has long been active in philanthropy. What is he? He's like what? The Lebanese, George Soros? I mean, really, seriously, from Mexico? I mean, really, that's what it looks like. I mean, I'm Mexico's version of George Soros. He should just be coined that. Hashtag Mr. Slim, the Mexican George Soros. Hey, George Soros has a little bit of competition here. Better step it up, Mr. Soros. There's somebody else who's maybe shittier than you are. Or just as bad. Maybe we can get Rachel Maddow to come out and say, those people that voted for Trump think Mr. Slim is paying for things like child trafficking and underground bunkers. I'm sure that's coming out. Mark my words. I just watched, a series of clips of how every single, from Jimmy Kimmel to everyone, Anderson Pooper, Anderson Pooper from a satanic mom and her pedo arts saying that we're conspiracy theorists. All right. Don't you just love these people? Gotta love them. Gotta love them. Okay. Mr. Slim, the son of Lebanese immigrants, has long been active in philanthropy. A charity bearing his name was created more than 2 decades ago to serve Mexican society by contributing to the development and training of human capital. Yeah, I bet we're human capital. His CEMEX Foundation, established in 1995, focused on nutrition, justice, and environmental conservatism. Like many philanthropists, Mr. Slim became particularly active because of a personal experience. After the death of his wife, Samaya, from severe kidney complications, he expanded his support to work on organ donation, as well as operations for cataracts and cleft palates. Carso is a combination of the start of the couple's first names. Oh, so it's his corporation, Carso. Like a business, Mr. Slim's philanthropy is designed to deliver results. Executives are handpicked. Projects must be potentially self-sustaining, and deadlines are set for results. One such deadline is his 70th birthday at the start of 2010. Again, a really old dude like George Soros. He told the Spanish newspaper El País this year that businessmen should participate in solving problems doing more than giving. It was absurd to merely leave behind a museum or a foundation. There are intriguing parallels between Mr. Slim and Mr. Gates. Let's put Mr. Soros in there, too. I put that part in there. The men know each other and in 2000 jointly unveiled what became Mexico's largest internet portal. They have each shown a particular interest in health and education. Both have been accused of being monopolists. Gates in the commercial software market, Slim in information to HIV patients. Okay. Let's go back. Oops. Oopsie. WikiLeaks staffer leaks suggests that he maybe have cartel involvement. Yes, we do want to look at that one too. Oh, yes. Let's see about his cartel involvement. The Global Intelligence Files. On Monday, February 27, 2012, WikiLeaks began publishing the Global Intelligence Files, over 5 million emails from the Texas-headquartered global intelligence company Stratfor. The emails date between July 2004 and late December 2011. They reveal the inner workings of a company that fronts as an intelligence publisher, but provides confidential intelligence services to large corporations such as Bhopal's Dow Chemical Company, Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Raytheon, and government agencies, including the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the U.S. Marines, and the U.S. Defense Intelligence Agency. The emails show Stratford's web of informers, payoff structure, payment laundering techniques, and psychological methods. Tactical client question, Carlos Slim and cartel dynamics. Okay, I've seen no evidence, but can I ask DEA? From Scott Stewart. Many people have assumed for a long time that he is somehow connected, but he has done a pretty good job of covering the tracks from Mexico. Okay, the client, Carlos Slim and cartel dynamics. I was actually going to ask the same question. These are all from different people, okay? So this is from Mexico. These are all answering the same question. This was April 18th, 2011. This is Karen Hooper to Anaya Alfano, Tactical Mexico, Carlos Slim and Cartel Dynamics is the question. And the subject matter, and it says, I was actually going to ask the same question. He's making big investments in Argentina. Oh, we all know what happened to Argentina. Or was that Venezuela? And I'd be curious to see what kind of influence he brings with him. Hey guys, do we have any information about where Carlos Slim fits into the cartel dynamics that we've seen in Mexico? I assume he's not squeaky clean, but is he officially allied with anyone or unofficially tied? Should clients have any concerns about dealing with him professionally? Thanks, Anya. Well, I don't know if that really says anything here. I mean, as far as what I'm seeing, it just looks like there's people who are speculating, so they don't really have, I need to see a little bit more than that. Maybe there's more out there. Darn it, I just accidentally closed that link. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. All right, let's go back. I'm trying to open this back up again. All right. Can we go back? No. Oh. Ouch. I messed up. Accidentally. Oh, but here it is. I can click back from here. Oh, okay. All right, one more. Let's go one more here. We might go more than one more because aren't you having fun? I'm kind of having fun just sort of searching all of this stuff. I like to do this on my show actually. I like to have, let's discover this together. As we go along. That way also that I'm not just, I didn't just plan to make some stuff up. And again, hey, maybe this is conspiracy, right? I mean, maybe this is conspiracy, all right? Maybe this is just for our entertainment value, but we at least have the right to look into it and kind of wonder and maybe, speculate, right? I mean, don't we still in America, we have the right to still think, can't we? We have the right not to take everything seriously, not know that everything is perfect, but also isn't it wonderful about the internet that there's just all these links and information that we can look over and make our own conclusions, right? Hopefully the right people make the right conclusions and we actually find out what the real truth is about anything. All right, here we go. Will Pope Francis confront the devil in the Mexican church? This is Fusion. All right. The Pope in Mexico, Mexico City, when Pope Francis visits Mexico from February 12th through the 17th, many people will be watching to see if he finally addresses the Vatican's failures to prevent and punish cases of child sexual abuse by some members of the Mexican clergy. There's plenty of such scandals to address, from a priest in Oaxaca accused of abusing indigenous minors to the fugitive priest of San Luis Potosi on the run from sexual abuse charges. There are other cases of the church hierarchy allegedly protecting accused pedophile priests, such as Nicholas Aguilar Rivera, who was transferred from Pueblo to Los Angeles, California, after facing several accusations in Mexico. But perhaps the most notorious case is that of Marcel Maciel, a priest accused of sexually abusing dozens of minors during his tenure as the leader of the powerful Catholic order known as the Legionnaires of Christ. Maciel founded the Legion in Mexico City in 1941 as a movement to prepare young men for the priesthood and Catholic leaders from across Latin America. Today, the Legion is best known for creating dozens of private schools and universities that primarily serve Mexico's middle and upper classes. In a recent interview with a Mexican reporter, Pope Francis said Maciel, who died in 2008, was sick, greatly sick, but he downplayed the Vatican's involvement in a cover-up. The Pope told Televisa that Maciel must likely had an enabler within the Vatican, someone who suspected and didn't know about the priest's pederasty. And many Mexican victims who were sexually abused by Maciel believe the pedophile priest must have been protected by more than one individual in the Vatican. A cover-up of that magnitude would require the protection of many. There's an entire institutional strategy to manage these cases from the inside in secret with the intention of disqualifying those who speak out, charges Alberto Athi, a former priest who now helps sexual abuse survivors. Athi renounced the priesthood in 2003 after meeting a victim of Maciel and seeing how top clergymen in Mexico discredited the allegations as lies and conspiracies. Wow, doesn't that sound familiar? Even the Pope, even the Catholic Church is going to discredit the allegations and use lies and conspiracies to do it. Look at that right there. Huh? Aren't you a conspiracy theorist? Aren't we conspiracy theorists? Now that the Pope is visiting Mexico, Athi wants the Holy See to publicly and fully acknowledge this and other scandals, which hopefully would be a first step towards some type of reform within the church. Clerical pederasty still prevails. Athi told Fusion, the Vatican structure hasn't been touched. Many sexual abuse survivors agree that the issue still needs to be dealt with. The memories and pain of what happened have not faded with time. I came out crying with semen running down my leg. He forced me to. He masturbated me. I had never masturbated, and I came out very confused because I was feeling pain and pleasure at the same time. Jose Barba, a renowned Mexican academic, told Fusion. Barbara was a devoted student at the Legionnaires of Christ on his way to becoming a priest when he says he was first molested by Maciel in 1955. Instead of becoming ordained, he left the Legion in 1962. He chose students as if they were cattle. He wanted middle-class boys, white-skinned, blonde, and attractive. Barbara says Maciel told him that masturbating him was an act of charity that would erase him from pain in his urinary tract. He told me that he had permission from Pope Pius VII to get his genitals massaged by some nuns, he said. It would take many years before Barbara could speak out about that abuse. For a long time, I thought I was the only one, he says. Then other victims started coming out, and we organized. Barbara and 7 others eventually denounced the abuses before Vatican authorities in the late 1990s, but the process took years and faced fierce resistance within the Holy See. In 2005, facing great outcry over the Church's sexual abuse scandals in Mexico and around the globe, Pope Benedict asked Maciel to step down from leading the Legionnaires. Maciel went into reclusion and died quietly in 2008 without ever facing justice. February 25, 2014, prelates attend a mass celebrated by Cardinal Valesio de Paolis and the Legion of Christ main headquarters, the Ateneo Pontificio Regina Apostolium. I probably bastardized that. Excuse me, I'm coughing from my coffee. In Rome, Cardinal de Paolis celebrated his final mass as a papal delegate and was sent off with a round of applause from a congregation eager to take back the autonomy that was wrested away from its Pope Benedict the blank in 2010. Benedict intervened after Vatican investigation determined that the Legion had been infected by the influence of its founder, the late Reverend Marcel Maciel. It's almost like Marcel Marceau, right? Sorry. Bad joke. I think it's a shame, fear, social preoccupation, says Barbara. When asked why it took so long to publicly denounce Maciel's abuses. This prolonged silence among victims is not uncommon. Studies on sexual abuse have found that many survivors generally speak out once they're older and have reached some sort of social comfort and security in their lives. No one talks, said Barbara. One person took 25 years to tell me the truth. The victims who have spoken out claim the Legionnaires were especially good at discrediting them and framing abuse allegations as ill-conceived attacks against their religious order. Fusion reached out to Legion for comment but did not receive a response. Marcel Maciel had the help, the complacency, and the complicity of many, which allowed him to lead a life of luxury, riches, lies, simulation, and crime, protected by a great mantle of impunity, of which no one is in charge nor claims responsibility, writes Carmen Astrigi, a Mexican journalist who published several interviews with sexual abuse survivors in a book called Marcel Maciel, History of a Criminal. In her book, Aristige exposed how the Legionnaires became important fundraisers for the Vatican. Oh, there's that fundraiser that we read about that he was involved with. What was that, $750,000 or $725,000, $700-something thousand for the Vatican and how a Machiavellian and widely determined Maciel managed to gain the blind trust of Pope John II, who was widely beloved by Mexicans. And by the way, I used to have, I maybe threw it away eventually. I had a satin jacket, which was for the the Pope John Paul II, the tour jacket. When he came to town, he had swag. I went to a show that Paul Provenza put together at the it was in Los Angeles. And with the Satiristas, all right, and it had Father Guido Sarducci went off. He was there. It was the highlight of everything. I was so excited to see Father Guido Sarducci from Saturday Night Live. Do you remember him? Ah, Father Guido Sarducci. Okay. Anyways, I'm digressing here for a moment, but I wore the jacket because it's all about religion and everything. And damn, if Paul Provenza didn't have a button. Paul Provenza did he produced and directed the Aristocrats, the documentary about the vile joke. Anyway, if you don't know who if you want to know who Paul Provenza is, comedian. Okay. Also, he had what was that show? The Green Room on Showtime. Okay. Anyway, all right. Okay. So, in her book, Aristogy exposed how the Legionnaires became important. Oh, by the way, a friend of mine got me that jacket from a thrift store. He goes, "I think you're gonna like this." Ah, it was a great jacket. My God, Pope John Paul II was swag. Oh no, they're definitely men of God. Okay, that should be a clue right there. Anyone with swag, any religious leader with swag needs to be on the suspect. I mean, come on. Might as well sell a sweat in a bottle like Elvis. Okay, all right. In her book, Aristogy exposed how the Legionnaires became important fundraisers for the Vatican and how Machiavellian and widely determined Maciel managed to gain the blind trust of Pope Paul II because he's probably more interested in swag, who was widely beloved by Mexicans. November 30th, 2004, Pope John Paul II gives his blessing to Father Marcial. Here's a picture of it too. During a special audience at the Vatican. What a creep. When the scandals eventually became too big to contain, the Vatican dismissed the problem as one caused by a few bad apples. Like the lone assassin, the lone pederast, Saul Bareilles, one of the Maciel's many victims, told Aristogy. But Maciel didn't act alone. Investigations found that he built an influential support network through the congregation's charities, its private universities, and its high schools. His charisma, calculated and contagious, fooled many in the country's well-heeled upper class who embraced the priest and became unconditional donors to his religious order. Maciel even officiated the wedding ceremony of Mexican billionaire Carlos Slim and was especially close to many prominent businessmen in the northern city of Monterrey. Oh, Monterrey! What's his face? Clint Eastwood was mayor. No, he was mayor of Carmel. Maciel's financial strategy targeted the wives of wealthy men. Writer-journalist Jason Berry for the National Catholic Reporter. For a time, Maciel was the rock star of the Mexican church, a man capable of bringing back religious values to the educational system and instilling a culture of charity amongst Mexico's elite. But that quickly faded once the scandals surfaced. Since Maciel's death, there have been various news reports that have sparked public outrage about his abuses, his alleged drug addiction, the children he conceived with women, and his shady finances. But Mexicans have yet to closely analyze the support network that Maciel had with the Vatican and Mexican society, which enabled the priest and his legionnaires to operate with total impunity for so long. Now that the Pope is visiting Mexico, the world's second most Catholic country, it's a chance for the Vatican to finally confront an old wrong in its dimensions, but breaking the silence won't be easy for Francis. To the surprise of many, the Pope recently issued a customary indulgence pardoning the legionnaires for their sins. That indulgence didn't necessarily pardon Maciel, but that's how some critics are interpreting it. Robert Blancarte, founder of Mexico's Center of Religious Studies, CEREM, thinks the Pope will avoid talking about Maciel's pederasty and the legionnaires during his trip. Wow. I'm really having a coughing fit on this. Then I looked down and the number was 333. Oh, no, there's nothing going on. Don't worry about it. Everything's fine. All right, Roberto so let me continue. Robert Blancarte, founder of Mexico's Center for Religious Studies, CEREM, thinks the Pope will avoid talking about Maciel's pederasty and the legionnaires during his trip, and the Mexican Church can't be expected to bring it up either, because it's a subject they've tried to leave in the past. Barbara thinks Francis may eventually try to promote some type of reform within the church, but that won't be an easy fight. He may have the will to do, but can't do because the Roman Curia won't allow him, says Barbara, who thinks Francis will continue to project himself in Mexico as a humble poor for the poor. That image has gained Francis public trust, and Barbara thinks he could use that support to challenge the Roman Curia that's preventing the change. However, Barbara also sees Francis as a pope of jesters and one who talks in generalities. Ultimately, Barbara thinks the Pope is unlikely to reform church laws to prevent and punish future sexual predators like Maciel. I've already seen these popes say and do nothing, he said. There's rumors Francis might try to meet with sexual abuse survivors in a private during his trip to Mexico. Many hope such a meeting would push the Pope to go beyond the sound bites and apologies. It remains to be seen how far this new Pope is willing to go. Barbara painfully remembers what a Vatican lawyer told him when failing to push the canonical complaint he and several others filed against Maciel. It's better for 8 innocent men to suffer injustice than for thousands of Catholics to lose their faith. And they have the official documents that you can access here on the website. All right, so I'm reading from the Fusion, but you can get it from that main link I shared. All right, so there you go about the Pope. Now, here's the next one. His wedding was officiated by Marcel Maciel, Catholic pedophile. Didn't we go on, before we go on, we did go through all those, the foundations. Slim has personally donated between at least $250,000 to $500,000 Clinton Foundation. Individual, Legions of Christ 2 years ago, a handful of Latin American billionaires and some of the world's top financiers gathered in New York's Plaza Hotel. They were honoring Mexican plutocrat Carlos Slim and raising money for schools for poor children run by the Legion of Christ, a fast-growing conservative Roman Catholic order. Okay, that's exactly what they were talking about right there. Mm-hmm. There you go, Mr. CEMEX there in Arizona, connected to the child suspicious, little pedo rape camp going on that there's no officials that want to do anything about it. Donating to the Clinton Foundation. Oh, yes, but we're conspiracy theorists, folks. Nobody can take us there seriously because part of Hillary's camp has that locked up with David Brock and Media Matters to America of America Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. None of these organizations are willing to look into it because anything about anything that we're talking about, even what happens when we know there's abuse in the Catholic Church, that's for a fact. We know that's happened. We know we've seen movies on it, and yet, it's all dismissed. It's all conspiracies. It's all false memories. There are no underground tunnels. Do not pay no attention to the wizard behind the curtain. Pay no attention to the elephant in the room. Pay no attention to the pink elephant in the room. No, there is not a monster in the box. Everything's fine. Go get the new iPhone. Sit back, take a selfie, and wear a pink pussy hat and call it a day. Okay? All right. Okay. Here we go. Let's go to the next one. His wedding was officiated by Marcel Maciel, a Catholic pedophile. Here we go. Will Pope Francis confront the devil in the Mexican church? Oh, I just read this one. Oh, sorry. We did that one already. Many suspect he is a front for former Mexican President Carlos Salinas. We might get back to that one. Clinton Foundation. All right. From the connection to Rafael Faleria, connected to the priest. All right, let's look at this one. Yip, yip. Yip, yip. Oh. Oh. Ow. Oh. No. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Oh, no. I closed the whole thing. Oh. Okay. All right. Hey, maybe we're just going to take a little bit of a break. No, I don't want to take a break because I want to close out. I'm going to close out with a bang here. I got a special little article to do a little rant on at the very end of the show. I'm going to always leave the last zinger for last. Okay. Yeah, I still want to see what that's all about. Okay, from Wall Street Journal, with elite backing, a Catholic order has pull in Mexico. I want to look at that. Let's look at that one. That's the one I want. That Catholic pull, that money coming through the that non tax charity, Catholicism, pedo. Well, it's still coming in. No, that's not. This is all blacked out. Why is this blacked out? Why can't I read this? Enjoy guest access for 24 hours. Oh, I'm sorry. You're going to make me put my email in here? All right. Let's do it. freedomofjoyce@gmail.com. Aren't you a sourpuss? No. An error has occurred. Well, it's not going to let me read that one. Wow. Not fair. That's not fair. I can't find out, the Wall Street elite connection to the money that's being made. Okay, let's try this one again. Connection to, Band at the time saw no reason to question Faleri's claims. One of the church's most prominent officials in the U.S., His Excellency Archbishop Celestino Migliore, had called Band twice to vouch for Faleri. Band later told a friend, Migliore is the permanent observer of the Holy See to the United Nations, basically the Pope's man at the UN. McGlory's office has denied that the Archbishop ever vouched for Filari to the Clinton camp. Mann told friends that Marty Edelman had vouched for him, too. Edelman declines to comment, and now Bunkle was on board. I don't know. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. At the moment. All right. Okay, so let's kind of recap on what the Freedom of Joyce show has talked about so far. All right. I discussed Roseanne, right? And the ambient effect, the fact that it's got MK Ultra mind control as being used for hypnosis, MK Ultra mind control, people in hypnotic state. There are people that have like driven cars and killed people while being on Ambien. It's rather kind of dangerous. Now we do know that Roseanne is an MK Ultra survivor. She's come out and talked about MK Ultra and Hollywood, done shows with spoken at seminars, or I don't know if you call it a seminar, but she's been in forums where she spoke out with Kathy O'Brien, and so it's no secret there about Roseanne, and maybe that might be a possibility. There's no secret that before any of this happened, Roseanne was publicly being called out as a conspiracy theorist, at least by, I know for sure, her ex-husband, Tom Arnold. So, all this stuff went down, so then you have that, and then we talked about the connection of Valerie Jarrett. Why Valerie Jarrett? Why would Valerie Jarrett come out in an Ambien-induced haze tweet by Roseanne? Well, you know what? I'm not sure. Maybe you guys can answer that question in a comment on this YouTube video. But we do know that Valerie Jarrett, it comes out through WikiLeaks, was connected with the Haitian exchange of orphans to the White House, done where Senator Ed Rendell went down and picked them up personally himself. And then we have Laura Silsby, who was pardoned by the Clintons for child trafficking associated with Haiti. We also know that Valerie Jarrett is in an interesting picture with John Podesta at a party at the Standard in Los Angeles, which it looks like they were spray painted and they were naked. Gross, I know. Now, that all being said, you have that little thing. And then today, we also, Craig Sawyer is part of this. There's been some suspicious activity happening in Tucson, Arizona, with, it looks like, maybe child trafficking, rape, death. Authorities are ignoring it, and it's connected to CEMEX, CEMEX, Carlos Slim, one of the richest Mexican billionaires. He is basically the Mexican, it's Mexico's George Soros, Carlos Slim. And then we get into the Catholic priest connected to, which is backed by the Vatican and the Pope himself, who's blessed by the Pope himself before he died, is connected to child pedophilia, where they're raising for big elite charities underneath the banner. These people love their charities and their fundraising, don't they? They love to make not only to murder and possibly rape and traffic children, but they like making a dollar where they don't have to pay taxes off of it, and then make deals with the UN and other corporations, their own, in products to help us with global warming. Too bad it can't be mandated globally yet, because the United States still has a fucking pulse. All right, now, let's move on from that. A little piece of information there today. I've learned something today and wrapped things up together for myself. It's been a journey for myself. Hopefully you've enjoyed it too as well. Now there's something else that came out, and I normally wouldn't talk about these things because I kind of wish these people would go away. Like I said, there's been another doll video by Miss Hart for me, a cartoon, more cyber abuse, but apparently Carrie Cassidy has decided to give Sean David Morton a prison blog on her Project Camelot website. And I would like to read what Mr. Sean David Morton thinks is relevant to actually write and submit on the blog site. Nearest and dearest friends and family, I know that JP, your host on Wolf Spirit Radio, is going through some stuff right now. He has a lovely woman, Rebecca, who deserves all his love and attention, and he has simply been putting in too much time doing radio and all of the other infotainment enterprises. Oh yes, according to Sean David Morton, this is just infotainment. So we missed doing the radio show last week, but I certainly hope I can get on this week to let you know what is going on. Oh my goodness, maybe he'll even be talking about me. Who knows? Oh darn. I lost my spot for a second. All right. To my severe disappointment, President Trump has Rudy Giuliani on his legal team watching the utterly laughable performance over the last week, and reminds me of the movie about Notre Dame football called Rudy, except in this version they put Rudy in the game and he tackles his own quarterback. Remember when Trump chanted "lock her up" and promised to get the button of where Obama was really born? And by the time he leaves office of the president, that you will know who was really behind the attacks on 9/11. Think there's any hope for that now? My suggestion is that since the White House Correspondents' Dinner for all the fake news prostitutes has become this filthy, vile, pornographic fiasco, why doesn't Trump support the real people that put him in office and hold the alt news Correspondents' Dinner with the real people giving up the real news? How about it, A? Important stuff. When I have little to no access to real information, like he ever gave any real information, totally, okay? So giving you my psychic impressions, oh God, I can't wait to listen to this, have been pure and unadulterated. When I predicted the big explosions and attacks on Syria, it doesn't take a rocket science to figure out that Syria is going to go under attack. I didn't mean just one warehouse getting blown up. I saw something huge, but the information has come. Oh yeah. The information has come across to me from the Fulford Report. Oh, like he's a legitimate source. That the Saudi Israelis, great moniker. Oh, let's quote the White Dragon Society, why don't we? Attacked northern Syria with a nuclear weapon, which is exactly the kind of thing I was seeing. So dead on again. I had thought they would be able to round up ISIL in one place and blammo, take them out all at once. So we will see, but dropping an A-bomb now. Here it goes for me. Now I get to be mentioned here. Isn't that lovely? Two Rolling Stone. When I was at Revolution Radio, it seems every day I was dealing with people that were just overwhelmingly pro-pot. My producer, Steve Travesty, was all over it. And I get many of the hosts where we're being funded and financed by advertising that was marijuana related. I'm sorry, I've never been funded or financed for my marijuana activism on any radio station. All right? In fact, I lost a friend over it. Okay. In this huge fight with Tere Joyce, just because I asked her how she would go about the legalization of marijuana, and she apparently, not having her fixed that day, just came unglued. I'm sorry, Mr. Sean David Morton. Have you ever seen me smoke pot before? No. Now, I have never smoked pot, obviously, or he would be more intelligent. Okay, I can't say never once in college. Oh, trying to be relevant. I didn't actually smoke it, but took a hit of it and almost coughed out my lungs. What an idiot. It was not for me. And I just thought all it did was make you stupid. And whenever I would say that, the stupidest person at the party would come up and say, it's been smoking at 20 years and it hasn't made me stupid. And where do you live? My grandma's basement. The persecution rests in your honor. The joke goes, the mating call of the blonde in the bar is, ooh, I'm so drunk. I love how he uses jokes. He can't write his own, okay? The mating call of the brunette is, have all those drunk blondes left yet? And the mating call for the redhead is, yo, next. So I used to date that particular super hot thoroughbred redhead named Kathy. The problem was she was meaner than a cat getting a bath and just plain awful. But she loved smoking pot and listening to the Grateful Dead. And when she was stoned, she was at least nice to me and wanted to have sex. So I was like, Kathy, just get high so we can go along and screw. And what do Grateful Dead fans say when they're, and blah, 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 blah. It goes on and on and on. Okay, so then he says, what was I going to say? Okay, I have like about a minute left. So he kind of goes on and on and on and on and goes on and on about the opiate crisis and goes on and on and on. And I just have two sentences in response to Sean David Morton. I'm going to leave you with this. This was my response. And, this is my response. It's pathetic that Sean David Morton is sitting in prison making conspiratorial arguments about the cannabis plant. His closed-minded and uneducated viewpoint should be a clue on his irrelevancy in this media. After all this time, it turns out that the serial fraudster psychic wonder boy can't even spell my name right. Perhaps he should try remote viewing it next time. Not surprised that Carrie Cassidy allows such slander and lies on her website, since it's been stated by Mike Nighthawk Ringley that she paid for Michael Hemmingson's former White Hat blog. I'm sure this is way more nefarious and interesting than my legal cannabis use. Good night, everybody. See you next week. Love you.